Okay, we're live stream. Alright, so let me copy this. Let me paste this over here. And let me just send that and say, oh, we're live. We are live. Alright, so let me know if you guys can hear me. And yeah, we should be ready to go. Quite a lot to talk about. Well, literally quite a lot to talk about with Bitcoin and Ethereum and everyone's favorite altcoins and Doge and yada yada yada. But I just want to do a quick little sound check before we start. Can you guys hear me? Is everything good? Hey Adele, welcome to the chat. We good? We good? We good? Everyone hear me? All good? Okay, perfect. So I want to talk about Bitcoin starting off now. Over the weekend, we saw Bitcoin have a very nice move towards the upside with the exponential moving averages. This, to me, was more of a manipulated move because this candlestick right here, when it formed, it had no wick. And no wick candlesticks basically look something like this, where they just pretty much have no wick opportunity. Usually we see candlesticks like, you know, with a little wick right there. But sometimes on weekend, mostly when there isn't any volume, those are the manipulation candlesticks. So you can see right here, this is another one of those examples. We had, this was also a breakout period. This was, I believe, on the Monday, but this was a no wick candlestick. We broke into resistance, we continued pushing higher, and then we had a period of consolidation. Now, looking at Bitcoin on, of course, the 4-hour time frame, this morning, for those of you that were in Telegram, that I said that, hey guys, we're looking for a shorting opportunity on 68.8. If this level structure ends up breaking, then we are entering a short position for a scalp. We saw the structure break. We had a huge move towards the downside, hitting into the $68,000 region, and then we bounced back up. When I texted you guys, it was right down here when I said start looking to take your profits or lock in. And the reason for that is because of the fact that I knew the market was going to go back and either retest the 68.8 level as resistance or break back above, right back into the same range. So what does that mean for Bitcoin as of right now? Well, simply to put it, we are still in this massive bar formation, right? Bitcoin is still in this larger bar formation looking to play out. The thing about bar formations is it is extremely tricky to understand and trade them because of how choppy they can be. Now, what I mean by that is because of the fact when Bitcoin saw this breakout above, everyone started messaging me over the weekend, oh, Pingu, we're in short positions, what should we do? And yada, yada, yada. Even though I kept telling you guys that we are not looking for trades in between this zone. All we had to do was wait for either 71.4 to break or, of course, 68.8 to break. Now, learning lesson here for you guys. You guys know how strict I am with you guys when it comes down to resistance zones and the exact levels. The reason why we have to pay attention to exact levels is this right here. You can see that Bitcoin got close to 71.3, but didn't get close to 71.491. This is where the discipline comes in. A lot of you guys jump too fast ahead. You have to wait for resistance structure to break, and then you can enter your long positions, because this is a situation where you don't want to get stuck in and then end up getting liquidated towards the downside. I've told you guys this many times that you don't necessarily want to jump too fast, mostly given the market conditions right now. Because of how volatile things are, a mistake is going to cost you quite a bit. Now, looking at the overall time frame though on Bitcoin, we are still looking for this bar formation to play out. If we look here on the daily, you will notice that we just hit the 20 exponential moving average and bounce. What I'm expecting, of course, is just another period of consolidation. If this level structure breaks right here at 68K, if we end up losing 68K, then that's going to be the confirmation that Bitcoin is ready to go back into possibly 52. If, of course, 59, and once 59 breaks, then 52K. But that's going to be the area that you want to pay attention to, is this exponential moving average right here. Why do we care about the exponential moving average? Well, simply to put it, if we are trading above the exponential moving averages, we are bullish. If we're trading below them, we are bearish. That's all, of course, on the larger time frame. On the 4-hour time frame, we see these setups happen, right? So the bar formation we saw, we played that trade perfectly. Right now is the same sort of bar formation looking to play out. and this is why I teach you guys these things, is because you can have both areas of trading from a larger perspective and of course a smaller time frame. So what I mean by that is, from a larger perspective, if you were looking at Bitcoin, you could have thought, okay, well, Bitcoin hit the daily exponential moving average. This would have been a long scalp position. You entered a short on the 4-hour heading into that position, locked in those gains, and of course, if you wanted to, you could have taken a scalp long at that region. Now, this is something where I have told you guys a little bit to be careful of, is over trading, but again, that's just one example of how you can trade the market. Looking at Ethereum though, now Ethereum looks pretty bad. If I'm going to be honest with you guys, compared to Bitcoin, Ethereum actually does look pretty disgusting. The reason why is because we are still in between the exponential moving averages, right, on the daily time frame, but we keep seeing a break structure. We are not seeing volume. 3683 was of course a major resistance, and you can see we had multiple retest opportunities on that zone, and we are not seeing volume come in. That from a daily perspective, as well as on the 4-hour perspective, we have this BART formation that looked played out, and of course I mentioned to you guys in the video earlier this morning that we have a larger 4-hour BART formation looking to play as well. The larger BART formation started right here at 3164. We had the break above, and then it would look something like this. That would be the ideal zone, and that of course is all dependent on 3274. If the market structure ends up breaking 3274, then it's a free shorting position, just like we had a free shorting position here in terms of wick lows. And again, we have another free shorting position, if you guys want another trade setup, would be right there. If 3411 ends up breaking, then that's your confirmation to be looking for the short position. The reason why is all you have to do is just continue trading these midterm support levels. Every time the market structure ends up breaking a midterm support would look something like this, where the market saw multiple retest opportunities randomly in between the zone, right? You can see that the market saw multiple opportunities here. We had multiple retest opportunities here. So that basically tells you that there were buyers that were waiting at this level. The problem is, the more times that level is tested, the higher chances of it actually breaking, which we saw earlier this morning, and which is why I sent you guys last night early in Asia hours as well to be looking for those shorting positions if we end up breaking that structure zone. Now, the next area of midterm support is right here at 3411. If that structure ends up breaking, you enter the short again and then ride it back down to the next midterm support level, which of course would be at 3274. Do you guys see how I'm saying midterm support levels? I'm not saying major resistance or major support levels, because the major support levels are down here. We already have our lines drawn out, but I hope that gives you guys a perspective on how you can exactly scalp these ranges. These is of course getting really deep into the technical analysis part of things, but I just wanted to kind of give you guys a perspective, because a lot of you guys struggle with this, right? Some of you guys will message me and say, hey Pingu, I'm stuck in a position, I don't know what to do. And the problem is, some of you guys don't notice that the exponential move, not the exponential move, I'm sorry, the midterm support levels, you guys enter a short on that midterm support level, because of course the overall trend is down right now, yes, but entries are very specific. And for those of you that are just learning or just trying to get into this, or just, you know, you don't have a lot of experience, maybe even 1 or 2 years, you're not going to understand this immediately. What you can do is just pay attention to the exponential moving averages. This is something I teach you guys all the time, is if you are unsure about an entry, wait for the EMAs, because they're your friend. They will tell you exactly where the market structure will possibly reject and where you can look to enter. This is for those of you that are a little bit more advanced and understand that how long should you hold a trade. Well, that's pretty much how you should hold a trade, is every time you see a midterm support level zone, you end up closing that trade. On Bitcoin, for example, at 68.8, well, guess what? It was also a midterm support level, right? So 68.8 was the same midterm support level. How did I know that? Of course, that level is going to be the zone. We can see that we had random bounce opportunities on Bitcoin. We had one bounce here, had another bounce right there, multiple wick opportunities here, another one right there. So you can see that there was quite a bit of confluence within that region, which I knew the fact that if that region ends up breaking, then we will have a massive shorting opportunity, which we saw once again. And usually that's pretty much how I trade when I'm looking at 4-hour setups. Would I be entering the trade setup now? No, I would not. Why? Because we are back into a period of indecisiveness, right? So that's just something, like I said, this is why scalping is your friend. I have taught you guys this over and over and over. You are not looking for the massive $65,000, $52,000 Bitcoin trade, unless you, of course, entered up here at 71K. Then yeah, you're pretty much just riding the moveset right now. You're happy, you're in profits, you're chilling. That a lot of traders struggle with, right? From the swing perspective, it takes a lot of skill to hold that trade setup and understand where you're going. And personally, guys, like if I'm being honest with you, yes, we are overdue for a corrective move, but would I really be shorting Bitcoin on a move set like this when we're really inching on all-time highs? Probably not, right? Probably not the best thing to do from a swing perspective. From an intraday perspective or a scalping perspective, 100%, it doesn't matter. We're going to scalp it anyways, right? We scalp both ways. You guys have seen that. Now, I want to talk about Doge. I will make a video on this, but I know a lot of you guys have been begging and begging and begging. So let's talk about Doge real quick. I will make a video within an hour. I'm not going to go too much into details. Now, in terms of Doge, my buying target would be down here at 0.193. The reason for this, of course, is looking at previous price analysis. This level acted as a crucial resistance, which of course should switch as a major support. You can see that we saw one test, we got the second test, and then, of course, the third test breakout on Doge. This is, of course, when everyone's like, oh my God, we're going to the moon, yada, yada, yada. And when every other YouTuber was telling you guys we're going to the moon to $5, I was saying, guys, be cautious as a zone. Not a good idea to be looking for long positions. Instead, lock in those profits. You can see that Doge ended up rejecting that zone. We got the period of rejection, followed by the retest again. So that level should have acted as support, failed, retested as resistance, and then we had a free fall opportunity. Well, over the weekend, we saw another leg towards the upside. And again, the comments were there that, oh my God, you were wrong. Doge is going to the moon. $5 is coming. People need to understand the fact that when I give these sort of levels to you guys, it's not just based on random things I draw on the chart. These levels are, of course, major daily and weekly resistance zones. There is going to be price manipulation. There is going to be euphoria at certain zones, but you guys got to understand when it comes down to 0.21 on Doge, looking at the daily time frame, look just how many times Doge retested and rejected off this zone. We had periods of wicks, right? You can see again right here. We had a period where this market structure broke above. Everyone got extremely bullish, same sort of situation, and then nuked again. And that's why I tell you guys, even from a long-term perspective, you have to pay attention to the daily time frame because it'll give you better insights of where exactly you can start looking to lock in those gains. And then once you lock in those gains, then you want to pay attention to the next buying opportunity. There's been so many times where I've seen people struggle with this area because they say, oh, it might not ever go back to that zone again, and then it happens and then they're pissed. They're like, oh, I should have waited. Now, looking at Doge on the daily time frame from an extreme point of range, if we look at the daily, you will notice that 0.168 is, of course, or rather 0.18 is a major major exponential moving average. Can we flush to that level like we saw on Bitcoin today? Yes, we can definitely flush to that level. And I know there's some of you guys that are in some insane leverage positions right now in Doge, hoping for the big trade. And this is for those of you that are, you guys need to watch it. You guys really need to watch your positions here, because if Doge ends up seeing that flush opportunity, then you are going to see at the same sort of liquidation zone. And the reason why I have a feeling we could see a flush on Doge is just look how many times we tested the 9 EMA. We haven't tested the 20 yet. And you guys know that level acts as a stronger magnet. If Bitcoin, of course, later tonight in Asia hours or anything happens and we see another drop on Bitcoin, then yes, Doge is going down with it. But I will make a video later today after the live session, usually when I make it, giving you guys all the targets and exactly where I would be entering, or at least what to watch out for from a larger scale. Now, Shiba, same sort of situation. Don't really want to talk too much into this, but Shiba, I mentioned to you guys that day that I don't like Shiba because of the slow ladder case towards the upside. And I can see that, that level trade did play out quite well. I was right on that move, but now we are pretty much heading right back into the 23 region. The problem is with the 23 region, as you can see, from previous price, we have tested this zone multiple times. We wanted to see volume come into the market. Like this trade right here, this setup right here, this should have been the setup, right? Where we saw the breakout back above, retest the support, and then continue pushing higher. But instead, Shiba rejected that zone. And once again, we rejected that zone again, which tells me that buyers were eagerly waiting, but of course, we didn't see volume come into the market. So that usually means that there's going to be another support retest. That would be the third test opportunity, and we could be looking for that the second level of buy at the 18 zone, which I mentioned to you guys a long time ago. The first level of buy would be at 23. The second level of buy would be at 18. Does that mean you should start locking in your profits from a long-term position? No, it does not mean anything. It's just giving you a dollar cost average area. But for those of you that are on leverage positions, it gives you a better insight of where exactly you can look for possible long positions. Now, that's pretty much on Shiba in that zone. So sorry, I always ignore you guys. Let me just read this real quick. Let's see. This guy said this is a scam. What's a scam? I'm literally, we're talking about charts. Come on, brother. We're talking about charts here. When wick breaks and reverses immediately, does that mean the trade was invalidated, as that happens in ETH when it broke 34.60 to 34.40? That's why we scalp, Adele. That's why you want to be very, very aggressive when you were looking for scalping positions. You want to be in and out of the market. Yeah, it's just scalping is an extremely short-term trade, exactly. ICP, I can look at that. When Raven took a dump, I was so mad. I will look at Raven too. Can you talk about TLM, GH? I don't know what those coins are. I don't do anything in terms of new coins. I agree. Doge too risky right now. Not right now. Okay, so let's have a look at everything right now. Okay, guys. So first off, let's talk about ICP. So having a look at ICP, let me see, where is ICP? There's ICP. So ICP, okay, so from my video from ICP, you guys remember last time on the last live stream, I mentioned to you guys that we were pretty much looking for that exponential moving average retest on the 20 EMA, and then we saw a break structure. We had a very nice midterm support level drawn here. You can see that this was the same level. I talked about this. If the structure level breaks, then I play around 1607. You can see that ICP is kind of in this midterm range right now. Would I be looking for a buying opportunity in ICP? Probably not. Probably not the best thing you can do right now. I would prefer to have more confirmations. If you want to be aggressive, then all you have to do is just pay attention to wick high. So wick high for ICP was right there. That would be your next long position. Otherwise, this consolidation zone, you are not trading the zone. A lot of you guys need to understand these consolidation zones are extremely dangerous. All you want to do is just be patient, sit on your hands, and let the trades play out. If the market structure ends up breaking midterm support level, you can take a short down to 1607, but 1607 would be the first buy I would be looking at. Now, given the fact that, of course, if we look at the daily, I'm assuming that we are still above so we're still above the EMAs, but again, look at where we are on the exponential moving average on the daily, and look where the 20 EMA is. So this is what I'm saying. A lot of these altcoins, like when it comes down to flush positions, they all look identical, right? A lot of these coins have the same sort of 20 EMA flush that could happen, and this is why I tell you guys, be cautious of these setups. Now, in terms of Raven, again, I gave you guys this trade in Telegram. This was a very simple trade setup, and I mentioned to you guys, would I be looking for Raven longs here? No, from a spot position, if I'm looking from a spot position, I want to be entering somewhere in a midterm support level or even a major support. 0.038 was the breakout zone. I gave that trade to you guys a long time ago. You can see that it was almost a 2x position, give or take, whatever you want to see it. If you enter down here, whatever, you get the point. It was almost a 2x trade. Now, looking at Raven, you can see that we're still trading below the exponential moving averages. This is pretty much in a free fall zone. This is just a sideways action. There's nothing in between stopping this thing from going back down. So I'd probably be looking down here for a re-entry, 0.038, or from a dollar cost average, buying more down here. But in general, if we bounce on 0.038, guys, I talked about this in the Telegram as well. The first level would be at 0.074. If that level ends up breaking, this structure ends up breaking, then Raven could easily go back into the 14 cent, even the all-time high at 30 cents. And if all-time high is broken, this is going to be a massive trade opportunity. So again, if you are entering these trades, you want to be a little bit cautious of where you're entering. But again, if it's spot position, then you are holding that for the long term. You are not playing around with that, okay? I can talk about Filecoin real quick because I know it's been a while since I talked about Filecoin. Give me a second. I keep getting text messages like usual. Whenever we start the live stream, everyone starts texting me and blowing me up. All right, cool. We're back. So in terms of Filecoin, I talked about this. So you guys can see from the last live stream, we still have the alert set up right here. So you can see 11:59, whatever. I have the same exact alert setup. This is all we're waiting for. We are not looking for a trade on File until this level structure breaks. Once we break above 1137, then you can start taking your long positions from a longer time frame. Otherwise, you are literally just sitting on your hands. I remember, I think it was 2 days ago or something, Filecoin pretty much, we were in the zone right here, and everyone was saying, hey, Pingu, can I take the long into File at 1137? And I said no. And the reason why is because of this chop that happens. This is a period of consolidation, and you can see that we've had multiple rejections from both a shorting perspective as well as a long perspective. So I personally wouldn't be trading this zone. I would just simply be waiting for that 1137 to break, and then you can enter your trade setup. That's it. That's all you have to do. It's just exactly like Raven. We're just waiting for a major resistance to break, and you enter your long positions. It's going to be a big trade because of how large this consolidation has been going on. You can see this is a massive consolidation. So you just have to be patient and sit on your hands. And once you see the breakout, that is a huge, huge opportunity for you guys. Lions literally look like a raven. Where do we trade Raven? Again, this is from a spot position, right? So I'm talking about Raven from a spot position. This is not from a leverage position. Most of you guys, if I'm being honest with you, shouldn't really be leveraging a lot of these positions anyways. Stick to Ethereum, Bitcoin, and once you guys get good at Ethereum and Bitcoin, then you can move on to, for example, Cardano and Doge. You should not be trading what I call tier 2s, IMX, Beam, Raven. A lot of you guys all of a sudden, oh, I got to trade it. No, you don't. You really don't, because those coins are extremely volatile. They move completely different sometimes to most of these major pairs, and I don't want you guys to get in the habit of trading tier 2 or tier 3 coins. I want you guys to focus on the main pairs, which is Bitcoin, Ethereum, Doge, Cardano. Focus on those pairs. Once you become extremely profitable, then you can start paying attention to the other altcoins. Why? Because when a moveset happens in those coins, like the amount of times I've seen Bitcoin dumps, Ethereum dumps, and I'll get a message and be like, hey man, did you see that Joe Schmo coin? It's still pumping. What should I do? I thought the market was dumping. And that's exactly why. Is when it comes down to specific altcoins, sometimes the market doesn't really care. They do their own thing anyways. And I personally don't want to be in that situation where I'm trying to guess, is this coin going to drop or is this coin going to see a massive rally? So that's pretty much why I would talk about that. Can you talk about Tim and it, okay, I don't know what that is. Yeah, can I start shorting now in ETH? Again, with ETH, I gave the setup already. If you're looking for a short position on Ethereum, you're just waiting for midterm support level to break. If that level doesn't break, then you're not looking for a short. It's very, very simple. You are pretty much just sitting on your hands once again. You had the shorting position. If you didn't end up the short this morning when I sent it in Telegram, then again, like, that's on you. It's fine. You missed a trade. But if I was looking for a retest, I got to be careful now about the exponential moving averages, right? So now if the market sees a bounce, then I'm drawdown for $120. I'm good. I'm chilling. I'm not trying to do that. I would much rather wait for the structure breakdown here now at 34.11 and then enter another short position if I was doing trading like that. Otherwise, I'm just sitting on my hands now. There's no reason to trade. You're just sitting on your hands and you're being patient. Big drawdown past few days. Best advice for drawdowns and dealing with feelings down bad. Okay, so we can talk about drawdown positions. So again, when it comes down to drawdown positions, the main thing is your entry. A lot of people, they enter in the wrong spot and then they end up being in a drawdown position. So my advice to you is always find a proper entry when it comes down to exponential moving averages. And just quick education lesson for you guys again. With the EMAs, for example, let's say you want to enter a short position, right? So let's say you enter a short position, let's just say over here, right here where the exponential moving averages are, because you were expecting the market to end up breaking structure. Let's just ignore the fact that it did, but let's just say you entered here and the market pumped up towards the upside. You entered up here, so you're pretty much chilling. Even if the market structure breaks above a little higher, you know the fact that this is still a major resistance zone, so it gives you a little bit better perspective of where you can possibly go wrong. If you enter down here, now that's where the dangerous territory comes in, right? You're already trading a risk factor at this point, and then the EMAs bounce, and then now you're testing major resistance and we're hovering right there. That's where your emotions really come into play. So my advice to you is, of course, if your drawdown is like 10, 15, 20%, and you understand that, the market's volatile, you're trading on the 4-hour time frame and you have a plan, then hold your position. But personally, your stop loss should be a lot more strict than that. And I talked about this a long time ago too, is when it comes down to your stop losses, guys, like if it's trading, like let's say you enter on the EMA, right? You're trading the rejection candlestick on the EMA. If it breaks above the EMA and then retests as support, that's not a confirmation to hold your short. That's a confirmation to exit your trade, because most times it ends up pushing back above. That's why the EMAs are there for you guys. It gives you a better perspective of where to enter or put your stop losses or your take profits, right? You can be aggressive with it too. You can be exactly on it too if you want, but there's levels to this, so you just have to play around with that. A lot of people are anxious to trade right now. Yeah, and I get that, right? Meme coin cycle is literally in a super cycle. There's so many millionaires being printed overnight. Everyone wants to make a trade setup. Everyone wants to do something. And this is where the dangerous part of a bull run comes in, is if you are over leveraging, over trading, or extending yourself too far, you're going to end up losing a lot of your money. So that's why you guys saw this weekend, I didn't text you guys shit. I said good morning and I said good night, and that's it. People were messaging me, hey, Pingu, I entered this trade. Hey, Pingu, I did this, I did that. I didn't reply to anyone. And the reason why is because I wanted you guys to understand when I said if it's holiday volume, we are not trading. I have to respect the decision that I'm not going to spoon feed you on a holiday weekend and explain to you why this was a mistake. You need to drill it in your head. When I tell you guys hey guys, I don't think this is a good idea in the market right now to be trading, then just take it literal, because I have done this for a very long time. There's no reason to be making these stupid mistakes, right? If you guys really, really need a trade setup, then again, there's altcoins that are you can look into, but that in my opinion, I don't think it's worth it. Like there's certain conditions in the market where, like this morning, right? We literally sat on our hands for 2 days. 2 days, we just chilled and did nothing. Market condition broke, we entered the short, we profited. A ton of you guys profited a ton of money, and that's it. That's all it took, right? It was just a simple trade setup. We waited, we were disciplined, and we called it a day. Now everyone's like, oh my God, Pingu, what's the next trade? What's the next trade? And I'm not forcefully trading anything, right? I'm telling you guys right now, there's not going to be another trade setup for a little bit, because I want to see what Ethereum does in this current state. If Ethereum during Asia hours breaks back above into EMAs and then rejects, then yes, that's a perfect trade opportunity, and 34.11 would be the zone I'm looking at. That's it. That's literally all it is. Otherwise, this whole whatever's about to happen in between here, I'm not trading it. I'm chilling. I'm good. I'm not really about that life. What is the best entry for short on Dogecoin? So again, this is my point once more. Why would you look for a short position on Dogecoin right now if you know that 0.193 is a major zone? Why? Like, to me, it doesn't make sense, right? You're trying to short Doge while Doge is in this consolidation. All it takes Doge is another green candle, break back above EMAs, and now we're retesting the highs just like we saw here, right? The same people that were looking for short positions here, they end up getting liquidated right here. So my advice to you, if you're looking for a short position on Doge, is probably just either wait for 0.193 to break, so something like this, and then retest its resistance, and then you can short. Or of course, you know, if you're going to be entering a short position and you want to play the chop, which I don't recommend at all, would be somewhere in these EMAs. But again, like there's not enough confirmation on Doge to be shorting Doge right now. I think Doge is still in an uptrend for sure, even looking at the daily time frame. But when a flush happens, you can play the flush. You just need better confirmation. So, you know, don't try to force a trade. A lot of times I exit trade on the wick and don't wait for the actual retest, and I mess it up. Yeah. So again, that's emotions, right? That's really, you got to get better at your emotions. That's really what it comes down to. Okay. So any recommendations for platforms to trade on other than Robinhood? Fairdesk. Yeah. Everyone's on Fairdesk. You can look at the, what's it called? You can look, just go on to here. I feel like, okay, here, give me a second. Like I gotta, okay, here's the Telegram. It's free, right? So everyone join the Telegram. Yeah, so if you want to join the Telegram, you can check it out. It's free. Everything's in there. Whatever you're possibly going to need, it is all in there. So Bitcoin Cash halving in 2 days opinion. Flynn, I don't really have an opinion on Bitcoin Cash. I was never a fan of Bitcoin Cash. There's a lot of manipulation of Bitcoin Cash, so I don't talk about it. I have seen it for a very long time, and you know, I like yesterday's setup too. I mentioned the same thing. Someone asked me, I think in the last live stream down here, and I have the level for you guys. I still have it drawn. I said 732 is probably going to end up hitting, and then we'll see. But I don't really talk about Bitcoin Cash just because, you know, just given how it is, like I'm not a fan of it. I know a lot of people like leverage trading it. They're huge on it, but for me specifically, I'm not really crazy about it. I'm just not a fan of it. So yeah, do you guys want any other updates or anything else you guys need, or are we good? Everyone good? What's my stop loss range? So my stop loss, like I said, it's usually around 3-4%. I try to keep it strict, and that depends on my entry as well. If I'm scalping, for example, during high volatility periods where I know I'm trading a BART formation, then I'm pretty lenient towards it. My leverage is a lot lower. But when it comes down to larger leverage, then, you know, you got to be careful. And I genuinely mean that, because a lot of you guys, some of you guys like send me trade positions and it's like 30x. I'm like, dude, what? Like 30x? That's crazy. And you guys like that thrill of catching a move and, you know, 30x leverage and you're making money. But, you know, and I can tell who it is, right? I can tell the reason why is because Ethereum will go up $20 and all of a sudden, Pingu, is a trade invalidated? Should I close? And I'm like, dude, it's $20. Like, what are you talking about? Like, if you're on 5x leverage, that doesn't mean shit. Like you might be down like 2%, but that doesn't really mean much, right? Like that's what I'm saying. Like I can tell who's on high leverage, and that's my point. Is please be careful with leverage, guys. It's a two-way street. You want to be very, very careful. Caffeine kicking in, so this live is exciting. Yeah, I mean, I bet. What time is it? What are we at? 28 minutes. Okay, I got about 10 minutes of chill time with you guys. What do you guys want to talk about? Do you guys have anything you want to talk about, or anything you want to know, or are we all vibing? Is everyone vibing in the chat? It's a nice day out. I'm trying to go out. How do we know if a wick break isn't a fake break? That's a really good question. We can talk about that real quick. So how do we know if a wick break isn't a fake wick break? So that really comes down to I guess, experience. And I can talk about that real quick for you. So a wick break, for example, is, you know, that's why I have the general rule of thumb is a 3 test. So a 3 test, what I mean by a 3 test is, let's say you have a major resistance level, right? So this is your major resistance level. Market tested it once right here. Market tested it twice. And then usually on the 3rd test, we tend to see a breakout period where the market ends up breaking out, right? So we can see that across the board happen a lot, but I give you an example of this. Let me see. So right here, I guess you can consider, yeah, you can consider that. So same thing. So you had on 2711, you had, give or take, 1, 2 wicks. If you go really far back, you can see a 3rd test. This is a rough example for you guys. So that's about 1 test, 2 tests right there. And then on the 3rd test, we saw a breakout period. The rule of thumb is usually you want to enter on the 3rd test. It's not guaranteed, right? 3 tests are not guaranteed. You just have to understand that. But your odds are a lot better on a 3 test than they are on a 1 test. If you enter a long position on the 1st test of resistance, so something like someone did right here, usually it's a bad move. Again, 2nd test, same idea, bad move. If the market structure ends up breaking above the EMAs here, right? So if we end up seeing a fake out on Ethereum and then we see a break of 3683, then yes, it's probably going to be a massive long position, and that's why I told you guys at 3683, keep an alert. If the market structure breaks above, scenario 8 would be invalidated and Ethereum would go for all-time high at 4028. Right now, chances do look quite slim, but again, anything can happen in this market. So usually 3 test rule is what you want to do. What's the best leverage to use with $1,000 account? Probably 3x, Jamar, probably 3x. Wedding plans, I don't really have too many wedding plans. I'm all like, everything's done for weddings, so I'm kind of just chilling. Can you check JTO? It just broke out. I'm not doing JTO. It's a new coin. Not going to do that. Is 0.68 the new big low for Doge besides... Well, yes, exactly. 0.168 is the main level. Is Solana pumping? We can talk about Solana real quick, and then I'll end this live stream off there. Solana, I think Solana is one of those coins, like, you know, it's pretty interesting because Solana to me reminds me of Binance Chain, right? So Binance Chain back in the day of 2020, I remember like we saw such an increase on BNB, and the reason for that was meme coins. People were going crazy for BNB meme coins. Everyone was making so much money. People were rocketing whatever. Solana is the same way right now. I personally wouldn't be looking for massive short positions on Solana because the reason why is meme coin season is in full effect and you need Solana to enter meme coins, right? You need to buy Solana to enter trades like that. So you're pretty much trading with a ton of volume against you, which is what I don't usually recommend. Instead, I would possibly be looking for long positions. Now there's levels to this, right? You're not just entering a long position here, probably waiting for 210 to break and then entering a long position. But yeah, Solana, I think this cycle is going to do extremely well, probably $400 or $500. Every dip opportunity on Solana would probably be a buying opportunity, but there are major levels to Solana that you can look out for too, right? Like our first level 134 played out. Now same thing at 210. If we see a break structure and retest the support, probably a better move to look for that long position. But when it comes down to shorting positions, you can see like every time the bears tried to take control of Solana, we immediately saw a move back towards the upside. And it's because of the fact that there's so much volume on Solana meme coins. Like I think like the DEX is like saying like $7 billion or something is on meme coins right now from like every day. Like it's crazy. So I personally, I'm not trying to trade against that. I'm not really a fan of all that. So probably a better idea for you to not do that. How do you use your 9 and 20? Why do you use it? Okay. Why do you use EMA, not moving average 10 or 11? So I talked about my exponential moving averages, why I use them the way I do. I back tested it for a very long time. It's worked out extremely well. Even from a learning perspective, it's a lot easier for a lot of you guys. Like I'm not trying to teach you guys 50 moving average, 200 moving average. I had a guy comment about that. He's like, oh, why don't you ever talk about the 200 EMA? And I was like, well, I just don't use it. And he's like, oh, well, you're not a charter then. You don't use the 200 EMA. You can't call yourself a trader. And I'm like, dude, the problem with the 200 exponential moving average is every dense dude out there, like a 3 IQ moron, it has a 200 EMA or a 200 moving average on their chart. Every single retail trader has a 200 moving average exponential. You can go on YouTube and type in moving average, and the first one's going to pop up as 200, and then it's going to pop up the 50. It's because all retail traders use the same sort of indicators. Everyone uses, and that's why most retail traders fail. every single time they fail. And the reason why is because the amount of weight that people put on these indicators is crazy. They'll say like, oh, the 20 EMA, if we're above the 20, we're bullish. If we're down the 20, we're bearish. The minute the 20 or the 200 breaks, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, bear. And then it flips back up. And you're like, oh, bull. Like, to me, it's like, I'd rather trade the 4 hours, and these EMAs are very precise, you guys have seen. So I personally like it a lot more. And I explain that trade setup to you guys a lot of times too. So you're pretty much better off like that. Yeah, exactly. You want to keep some stables on the side just in case the market does see that. Same thing. I don't talk about GHSD. I have no idea what that is. Exactly. Yeah. So everyone does have their preferred trading styles, but me personally, like, I like teaching you guys the 9 and 20. If you guys have the 9, 20, 50, 200, then by all means. I just personally think the less you have on your chart, the better it is for you long term. And what I mean by that is, you guys can see my charts are extremely naked trading. I don't trade, and like, the way I trade is very, very simple. I'm not a huge guy about, you know, trading about indicators and stuff. Like, I trade very simply, and you guys always say, oh, how do your trades work out so well? How do you do it? How do you do it? And it's just basically just being disciplined and just sitting on your hands and just simple price action. I go off previous price action because there is a ton of information out there in terms of previous price from the previous cycles that I have done. And again, that's why I teach you guys this, is always watch out for the previous cycles. You can see the major levels and you can trade accordingly. That's really all it comes down to. Otherwise, if I don't have a setup, I'm not sending it in the chat, because I know I'm responsible for all 1,500 of you in the chat. And if I make a mistake, then it costs people a lot of money, because people trust the trade setups are going to work out as they will. And that's why I tell you guys, I don't often send trades, but when I do, they do well, because it's like I wait for proper confirmations. So that's just pretty much how we do it. Okay. Anyways, we're at the 35 minute. Where to buy Raven for spot? There's a lot of exchanges, my friend. If you go on like CoinMarketCap, so here I'll do this real quick and then I'll call it a day. So if you go on Raven, where is Raven? Raven, is this Raven protocol? I think, yeah. No, this is not it. RVN. There's so many stupid Raven coins now. Okay, so if you go on CoinMarketCap, you click on markets, you'll see you can buy from Binance, Bithumb, OKEx, Gate.io. HTX is kind of risky. Bybit, you can buy it. You know, so yeah, these are all the platforms you can go buy for spot positions. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So if you don't have it, use a VPN. But yeah, wait, last question. Resistance to support. What's your question? Gang Priya, I have a video on that. Can someone link her the video? If you just search up Pingu charts indicators on YouTube, you'll find videos on how to set it up and how to trade with it. I have a full video like explaining everything. EA, what's your question? I'm waiting on you. Was that your question? What's a good thing to look for to get the resistance line to the T? Oh, yeah. So I can explain that real quick. So actually, you know, EA, if you go to the same thing, Pingu Charts Indicator, episode 1, support and resistance, I explained how to get it exactly to that precise dollar. But all you're paying attention to from the precise dollar amount is just you're paying attention to the wicks. Where exactly has the market tested the wicks the most amount of times? I'm not going to look at here, right? I'm not going to trade like this. I'm not going to look at this action right here and be like, oh, okay, no, I need to go to the daily time frame and then look at the wicks on the daily, because the daily will give me a better perspective of where things can possibly go, right? So that's why my wicks are very, very precise sometimes, and it gives me a worst case scenario too in my head. Is if the wick ends up breaking, so if the market structure breaks that resistance, then I know I have a little breathing room in between, because I know it's a major weekly resistance. And a perfect example of that was the 40.28 level, right? 40.28 was an exact wick for a lot of the trades. We saw a little push up, right? We're 40.80. We got a little push up, right? So I wasn't freaking out. I was whatever. I had the plan. I knew 40.28 was a major resistance. We were already in extreme overbought conditions. Look at this. And we had a rally from 2800. I knew that we were sooner or later going to be looking for a corrective move, right? So that's really all it comes down to. You just have to look at the bigger picture, and then it gives you a better understanding. But yeah. Put your trade setup updates in groups, so that will be helpful for newbies. I do put my trade setups for you guys. I record videos for you guys. What are you saying, man? I literally make videos explain. I don't think you guys watch the videos. I think that's really what it comes down to. You guys need to start watching those videos. Like what? Like look at this. Hold on. Let me scroll up. Where is it? Right here. It's like Give me a second. I remember making a video. There's no way I didn't. Right here. There is a video in here. Oh my god, I talk so much in this chat. Give me a second. Usually, like I send like in between to, yeah, right here. So you can see I did setups explained. I do make videos for you explaining the setups. You just have to watch them. You know, and I'll talk about it in the trade setups too. I'll be like, hey, like look at this, look at that, look at that. But yeah, so that's pretty much how I do it. So, yeah, you go join the Telegram. Otherwise, like it's like that. No, brother, I was just talking about your own when you start talking about position, ping them into the group. No, Shaquille, I'm not doing that. We're not doing that. I'm not a signal provider. I tell you guys this all the time. I'm not a signal provider. I refuse to be a signal provider because then it turns the group into just people waiting for my trade. Like, you know, I talked about this a long time ago. People be like, oh, Pingu, I need can you send me a trade setup? And I'm like, what do you mean? And they'll be like, can I get the stop loss to take profit, when to enter? And I'm like, no, I'm not a signal provider. Like, you can go online to find those people and stuff like that. But me personally, like, I'm not really a fan of it. I think it's better that you guys learn on your own and you guys make your mistakes and you guys will become better profitable traders, because some of you guys, like, and this works out both ways, right? For example, I'll give you guys the direction of the trade. So I'll be like, guys, we're shorting Ethereum into, for example, you know, we're going to be looking for a break structure. This morning, like I sent a short position to you guys, right? I said, hey, Ethereum is about to break the midterm support level. We're going to be looking for a short. Some of you guys entered the short here when I first texted at 35.37. Some of you guys entered the short down here at 34.60, but everyone was profitable on the way down. Every single person was profitable on the way down. And that's why I do that. If I, for example, sent a signal setup, for example, like just an example, I sent it here and now the market structure breaks above, then everyone's gonna be like, oh, what the hell, Pingu, bro, what the fuck, market's moving up, man. Like, I don't want to deal with that. I don't want 500 more DMs than I already have. So as long as, like I said, the structure setup plays out, then I'm happy for you guys. But yeah, there's signal providers out there. You can play for them. I'm chilling. No, it's not insider trading. We don't have that much size. You do well on Telegram. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, for real. I don't think we have that size to be moving in terms of I don't think we really have that size to be moving that much money, guys. We're little guppies compared to this market. I think someone bought like what, $1 billion on Saturday on Bitcoin and then moved the price like $2. Or it's like $20. That gives you a perspective of how big this market is. Like, people say, you know, I had a guy comment. It's funny. I had someone comment and said, this is when I shorted Doge at 0.17, and someone was like, this guy's a scammer. He's moving the market himself with his group. And I was like, bro, like, that's how you know, that's how many dumb people there are in this world, and that's who we're trading against. It gives you a perspective of people don't even understand liquidity, let alone where we are at in this market. So yeah, there's opportunities in that, but it's just it's just funny to see regardless. But yeah, okay, all right, I'm out. You guys do your thing. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thanks for coming. Monday's talks, 4:30 usually. I try to do this quite a lot, but yeah, we'll talk maybe tomorrow if the market goes haywire. I'll make another live session tomorrow, but there will be maybe 2 or 3, maybe probably two more this week sometime. But usually 4:30 is when I do it, and sometimes noon. Like, I'll give you guys a heads up. If you don't see a message from me by noon, then you know it's going to be at 4:30 later in the day, if there is going to be one. Hey broski, what's Litecoin doing? I was about to end it. We can talk about Litecoin real quick. I don't think there is anything worth talking about Litecoin. I don't think we've seen it. Yeah, Litecoin's not doing anything. Litecoin failed to hold above 102, so we're probably back in this bar formation as well. Most likely $92. I'm not a fan of Litecoin right now. It actually doesn't look too good of a trade setup. We failed multiple times on major resistance, so probably not the best thing to trade right now. Just be cautious about Litecoin, okay? And mostly from right now, most likely Litecoin goes to $93 because we're just in a midterm right here, so most likely we see something like this. So $93 would be the play. Okay, anyways, I'm out. You guys have a great day, and yeah, it's just a nice day. I'm trying to go outside, so I will talk to you guys later. Thanks for coming, and then I appreciate. Oh, sorry, I will make Doge. I will make Doge. Okay, I know you guys are waiting. I'll make Doge, and then we'll talk later. Okay, bye.